If you know me, you know I really don't love Mexican food. I know. But sometimes it looks so good, but I just can't. So I've been trying to modify certain dishes to my liking, and that's exactly what I want to make tonight. I'm going to make my basic enchiladas. They're very good. I cook them a lot and people like them. They're not spicy. It's basically chicken and cheese rolled up into a tortilla. But I do put a very small amount of spice in there, so it's got something going on. It's good. And you can modify this however you want to. I do. I've made plenty of versions of these, all very delicious. So let's get started on my basic enchiladas. So about a half an hour to an hour before you want to assemble the enchiladas, we're going to make the sauce. Now I am going to be making roux. These are not red enchiladas, these are white. I have 3 tablespoons of butter in here, have been melted. So to make a roux, we want equal parts of fat and flour. So I have 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour right in. So we're gonna stir this around and cook the flour a little bit. We wanna get all that raw flour taste out. So swirl this around here for a minute or so. Once this has cooked out for a minute, I'm going to start to add our liquid slowly. So no lumps form, and I find that it thickens a little quicker this way. And this is about 3 cups of chicken broth. Now we're going to stir this around until it thickens. It'll start to thicken momentarily. While this is thickening, I'm just going to add some salt and pepper. I'm gonna stir this until it gets thick. It's only been about a couple of minutes and you can see the thickness of it. It's gotten nice and silky and beautiful. The way you can tell this is done is if it coats the back of a spoon. You can put your finger through it. The line won't run. Might be a little hard to see on this spoon. See? The line is right there. It's not crossing it. She's done. Now set this aside off of the heat. The reason why we want to cook this kind of a little bit in advance of assembly is because I want this to cool down just a little bit. I'm gonna be putting some sour cream in here and I don't want it to curdle. So this is just gonna chill off the heat for half an hour or so. Just come back every now and again and stir it up, release some steam, you know, all the good stuff. I'm gonna get a little crazy here. While we're waiting for this to cool, I'm gonna put in 1 4-ounce can of green chilies. But they're not too spicy, and they give a really good flavor. Give that a stir, and now we're gonna set it aside, let it cool, and then we'll come back and finish it off. While we wait for our sauce to finish cooling down a little bit, I'm going to assemble the goods. This recipe is usually pretty good to fill a 9x13 baking dish with some taco-sized flour tortillas. And I have a couple of cups of shredded chicken in here. I just bought one of those rotisserie chickens and picked it, but you can cook the chicken if you want. And I have about a handful each of mozzarella, Colby Jack, and Monterey Jack cheese. I like a lot of cheese. These are really good melting cheeses, so that's why I have these. So I'm gonna set this aside. I got my little pans over here. This one's just for me. The rest are going to a good home. Let's get started. Just gonna take the tortilla, grab a good little handful of the filling. Don't be shy. There'll be plenty. And we're just going to roll them up. Look at that, seam side down into our dish. Just tuck it all in there. There's mine. This is what it's gonna look like in the bigger pan, except for, you know, more. We're just gonna be pouring the sauce over it, putting some cheese over it, then you just shove it in an oven. So I'm gonna get to assembling the rest of them. Here we go. So here we have the 9x13. There are 7 in here. You could definitely push these down and shove a couple more up in here. You can really squish these. I could probably fit a couple more in the sideways too. Just pack them in. These would have made this complete, except for these are mine. These will be going away, so I wanted to separate them. So once our sauce is cooled, we can finish it off. Our sauce is slightly cooler now. I'm going to add about 4 ounces of sour cream. Lightens it up a lot and makes it a little more of a creamy sauce. Now I can just put the sauce right over the enchiladas. You don't want them to completely drown in the sauce or get lost in the sauce, but you want them to be good because the flour tortilla and everything will absorb some of that sauce. Might as well. Whatever should we do with these now? I feel like it needs more cheese. Some more Monterey Jack, some cheddar Jack. These are going to be muy delicioso, as you know, one would say. I'm gonna pop this into a 375-degree oven until the sauce starts to bubble, the cheese starts to melt. Just watch it. I'd say start off with 10-15 minutes and see where you go from there. But you just want that sauce to be bubbling and the cheese to be melting. You can even throw it on broil for a little bit if you wanted to. Very good. Look at that. It's all crunchy and bubbly, and the cheese is nice and melted on the top. I did broil it at the end for a few seconds. If you're gonna do that, definitely watch it because it's gonna burn. I definitely suggest waiting to dig into these. Maybe 10 or so minutes, because this is about the temperature of the surface of the sun. So if you value your mouth at all, just wait. Just make a margarita, you know? This is gonna be good. Oh yeah. Okay, I have to dig in. Look at that. I want to get a little fancy with it, and I want some lime. And there you have it. Some delicious, very basic chicken and cheese and green chili enchiladas. Super cute. Time to take a bite. I'll get right in the middle there. You can see that little cross section. Full of goodness. It's cheesy, it's chickeny. Very delicious. That sauce is something else. The lime really adds something to it too, like, do that. This is really good. Definitely make these. Like I was saying before, you can do these however you want to. I've made these different versions. I've made a chicken bacon ranch version. Same sauce without the green chilies. Killer. You can make pizza enchiladas. Chicken cordon bleu enchiladas would be really good. You can make anything. Just think of chicken, cheese, or any other fillings, whatever you want. Wrap it up in a tortilla. Throw some sauce on it. Throw some cheese on it. And throw it in the oven. Kids like these. They're not very spicy. I'm a child. And the flavor is just super good. Happy cooking.